All right, welcome guys. So today we are drafting a basic bodice. Okay, so this first and foremost will be drafting the form pattern. So I've just gone ahead to draw my vertical and horizontal line. So on the horizontal line, I am taking my shoulder measurement. Another line forms my shoulder line. Okay, sorry, my camera is blurry, but it will soon be clear enough now. So now from your shoulder measurement, you want to measure your neck measurement. Okay, so I'm using 3 by 3. It works perfectly well for me. Okay, so I'm just taking the 3 by 3 round, so that I can have a round neck, a round curve. Okay, so I'll connect those lines like so. Don't worry, my camera will soon be cleared now. I didn't know the thing shaked. All right, so from that, just use a pattern master. You can use freehand, you can use, just make sure that you don't have a bent curve, that everything is in place. Okay, so after taking that, so we took our shoulder measurement before. So now from that shoulder length, I'm coming down by 1 inch. If you use your hand to feel your shoulder right now, you will see that your shoulder is not straight like that line. Okay, so it's slopey kind of. So we are taking our shoulder slope 1 inch. Some people go down by 1.5 inch, but I prefer 1 inch. It works for me. All right, so from that shoulder slope, now that is now our new shoulder line. Okay, so from that shoulder slope, I want to measure my armhole measurement. So my armhole length, to get your armhole length, it is your bust circumference measurement. Bust circumference measurement is 36 plus 1, divided by 6. You divide it by 6, okay, then you will now add 1.5 inch. Bust circumference measurement divided by 6 plus 1.5 inch. If you take your client or your bust measurement divided by 6 plus 1.5, you have a perfect armhole length. So I'm just going ahead to take that 7.5 inch. If I'm taking it from the center front line, I will be conscious of that 1 inch slope. Okay, so that I can have that straight rule. All right, so now I'm connecting the shoulder to the chest line, because the new horizontal line we just draw now, we form our chest line. All right, so from that shoulder tip, I want to take my bust measurement, my bust length measurement. So from your shoulder, from that shoulder, measure to your bust point. Okay, so that will be your bust point length. So for me, it is 9. So I'm just taking the 9 all across. All right, so and then I'm connecting the lines like so. So from that line, I want to take my underbust measurement. So my underbust measurement from my shoulder to underbust, or your upper waist measurement, okay, is 13. So I'm taking the 13 inches across. As you can see, yeah, 13. So I'm taking the 13 inches across now to have my underbust length. Okay, even though for the basic bodies you don't really need your underbust, I'm just taking it on my pattern because I may want to use the pattern later for so many things. Okay, all right, so from there you want to measure your waistline. So from my shoulder line to my waistline is 16.5. So I'm just measuring the 16.5 across. So I will connect the 16.5 like so. All right, yeah, so I'm connecting the lines now. So from that, I'll just go ahead and label, my patterns. So the first one I wrote is chest line, bust point, waist, and on the bust and waistline. So far so good. We've been able to achieve all this line. So now we want to determine the length of this bodice. So it's maybe it's a crop top you want to cut, or you just want to cut a not too long top. It depends on the blouse or the what you want to cut. But for me, I'm going with length 20. All right, so I'm using length 20. So length 20 is what I'm using right now. Okay, so from there we will now start taking the necessary measurement. So that's full length. That length, might call it full length, but I just decided to leave it. So just decide to leave that, not to label it, but you can call it full length, you can limit full length or anything. All right, so from the center front line, you want to measure your bust span. Okay, so people call it nipple to nipple, bust span measurement. Mine is 7. You measure the distance between one nipple to the other. That's how you get your bust span measurement. So you connect it like so. All right, so we'll now move now to our armhole measurement and our armhole curve too. So right now we'll find the midpoint of the armhole. That is, you divide the armhole, whatever it is you have, you divide it by 2 to get the midpoint. So on that midpoint, you want to go in. You want to go in by 0.5 inch. Okay, so that's what you can see me do. I'm going in by 0.5 inch, and then I'll connect from the shoulder slope down to the 0.5 inch. Then you connect it so to your chest line. Like so. So on the waistline, I'm going in and out by 7.5 inch. So 7.5 inch to the left and to the right will make it 1.5 inch. Okay, so on the bust point, I want to come down by 1 inch. Try and come down by 1 inch, and then we'll now connect those lines from the full length of the dress down to each of the dart lines. So connect the dart leg like that. Connect it like so. We'll connect it also to the full length of the dress like so. Like so. All right, so I hope we get it to this point. So our pattern is taking a nice shape. Okay, it's taking a very beautiful shape. So from that, we'll start taking our circumference measurement. But before then, I just want to illustrate how to take our arm side dart or our bust dart. Okay, so that's why I majorly measured my under bust. So from that under bust, you can see I divided it into two lines just to get the midpoint. But we'll still come back to that. Now we have taken all our circumference measurement. So the circumference measurement, we are taking it on the bust is 36 divided by 4, and then on the waist I have 32 is my waist. Then I added the 1.5 inch dart allowance to it. So I'm connecting the waist to the bust line and then to the chest line. Okay, so from there I'll connect it to the hip line. All right, so now we take our arm side dart. I'm dividing by bust point, the difference, the length, the gap between the bust point and the under bust, and then I'm connecting it to the bust point. You can see. So I'm just going in and out by 0.5 inch. go in and out by 0.5. I'm using pen because I'm not really using my dart, my bust dart. So I'm also going out by 1 inch like we did for our waist dart. So you connect it like so. All right. So if you want to take your shoulder dart as well, we'll divide it also from your neckline. You divide it by 2, get the center point, connect it to your bust point line. I mean your bust line. So you go in and out by 0.5 inch, depends on your preference. Okay, so you go in and out and then connect it to the bust point. So every dart is still coming to the apex point, which is the bust points. Can you see? All right, so I've labeled, that's my front dart. That's my front bodice. Sorry guys. So that's my front body. So now we'll be moving to our back bodice. All right, so on the horizontal line, I'm just going to take, so you can see as I am taking my zipper allowance from that. Okay, so that's my zipper allowance. Okay, so it is after that zipper allowance, the line is from that line we'll start taking every other measurement. So I'm just taking every measurement we took from on the basic front bodies. Okay, so now everything must connect back to your zipper allowance, as you can see. So I didn't stop my neckline on the center front on the zipper before the zipper allowance. So I'm just basically taking all the measurement in order for this video not to be too long. So if there's anything you don't understand, kindly drop a comment in the description, in the comment section. Drop your question, I'll be there to answer. Okay, so like this video and then subscribe to this channel. Let's build this family together. Anyway, you can also use your, if you have a tracing wheel, you can use your tracing wheel to trace the front on the back pattern, so you wouldn't need to be still having to measure all of this again. I'm just doing this so that maybe if there's any parts you missed during the course of the front pattern, you can just get it while watching this. Okay, all right, so I'm not taking under busts here. I'm just going ahead to take my waistline, as you can see. Okay, don't need other bust for back. Okay, so you can see that I connected my waistline into the zipper allowance. Every other one is not going into zipper allowance because there's something we want to do on our waistline, and that's to get rid of our zipper bulge. Okay, all right, so that's the full length of the basic bodies. Yeah, we are almost through, guys. We're almost through. So we'll connect the shoulder line. We'll connect it like so, and then we'll take our bust point. We'll take the dart. So for the dart line, so take that 3.5 inch, and then on my back measurement, on that on the dart measurement, we'll be using 0.5 inch. I'm just labeling it all across. Okay, so here on the dart, which is on the waist, to take our dart, I'll be using 0.5 inch all across, and then I'm going to cross it, take it to the full length, and then to the bust length, which is the bust point rather. Some people take their dart up to chest line, but I prefer stopping at in fashion, you do what works for you. When you try so many techniques, and then you see the one that works for you. So this is what basically works for me, and then it's more or less like the standard. Okay, so you can just take it straight. You may not curve, that's your armhole, but I just want a little curve because that back too is not straight. Like I said, it's just like maybe 0.5-inch curve. So that's what I'm just doing right now, just to have that, little curve inward into the bodice. All right, guys, so we just go ahead now and take our circumference. So as you can see, I'm taking my circumference measurement. So I'm adding the dart allowance, which is 1 on my hip, or the full length. I'm just using my hip measurement for the full length of the dress. So if your dress is not getting to hip, you can just measure where it will get to, so you can have your accurate measurement. So I'm just drawing and connecting those lines and then shaping out that sharp edge. You don't want to have any sharp edge. All right, so I want to also demonstrate the shoulder dart for back. So you find the midpoints, and then I'm going in by 2 inches, and then you just mark, you take those dart allowances. It should be basically 0.5 on the two side. That will be 1 inch. All right, so that is what I'll be doing right now. As you can see, 0.5, okay, 0.5. You can see 0.5, that's 1 inch. So by the time you are through, please always add back that dart. Always add it back. That allowance of 1 inch, add it back to the shoulder length. I hope you get me. You add it back to the shoulder length, so that your shoulder will not be having any form of shortage. That is, if you are taking that dart, you add the 1 inch back. Like we added 1 inch back to the waist measurement, you also add it back to your shoulder length. Okay, so right now we are taking our zip bulge. You go in on the waistline. On that waistline, you go in. My video didn't record that part, so I'll be demonstrating it again. So on the waistline, okay, you go in by 1/2 inch. The back is not straight. It's not straight. So we want our zip to rest well on our body. So you go in by 1/2 inch. So you now connect from that waist down to your neck line, like that, to get rid of the zip bulge. So we'll also do the same on the allowance. The first one is on the bodies. Now we'll do it on the allowance. Take it on the allowance, and that's it. So thank you guys for watching my video till this end. See you in my next video.